Hi, welcome to this how to play video of Warpgate. Warpgate is a competitive game of galactic conquest. We are the leaders of a unique race of aliens and we have to lead them towards triumph by researching new technologies, controlling trade routes, completing various missions and of course earning precious glory points. All these are done via quick to resolve space battles. Okay, when I get into a game I want to know how I'm going to win. What do I need to do to win the game? So straight up, what you need to do in Warpgate to win, there are 4 various paths to achieve victory. You can either complete missions, research technologies, claim trade routes and earn various glory points in battles. And of course you can combine all 4 of the above. Pursuing each of these will earn you victory points. The game lasts until either the technology deck or the planet deck runs out. A player with the most victory points by the end of the game will be the winner. So what's the story behind Warpgate? Not long after harnessing spaceflight and taking our first bold steps into the Great Void, our people discovered something really fascinating, just right at the edge of the star system. Immediately, an exploration fleet was assembled and sent to investigate. The object turned out to be an ancient warpgate, built by an alien race for a purpose unknown at this point. When approached, it activated, opening a passage into an uncharted space. This is where we, as players, take command. This is why we're going to send our fleets just right through the space warpgate and see what's there to investigate. As a leader of a unique race of aliens, we lead our people towards triumph and researching technologies, controlling trade routes, completing missions, and all this will happen in the new vast space that we're going to explore, just behind our travels through the warpgate. Let's quickly go through the setup of the game. First of all, we start by placing the number of hexes that we have in front of us, diamond-shaped and hex-shaped, equal to the number of players. You can see that the board is consisted of various big tiles and small tiles. These are the diamond-shaped and these are the hexagon-shaped. We can assemble them together. Here we have a setup for 3 players, where we bring 3 of the big ones together, so you can immediately see the modularity of the board, and 3 of the hexagon of the diamond tiles together, so we form immediately a variable modular board. So what you're going to see is we have the diamond-shaped edge tiles that include also the warpgate, and they are the starting point for our faction, for our player fleet. Then give each player a random player board, which, as I'm going to show you now, they are double-sided, so you can have one side and a second one from this opposite edge, so you can have 2 options, so you can choose which one of you prefer. The reason of that is because each board has a special alien race, and also it has special abilities that go with this alien race. Players can freely choose whichever side they prefer and they will place it facing up towards them. Then each player shuffles an action deck of 12 cards, which is in his color, and there are those on the left with this drawing at the back with this artwork. And also we're going to shuffle a deck of combat cards. This is a smaller deck of fate cards and has the spaceship again on the player with the player color to indicate to which player it belongs. Then we're going to shuffle a number of technology and planet cards to form the technology deck and the respective planet deck, according to the following table that it's included in the rulebook. We have something like 10 technology deck cards and 8 planet deck cards for 2 players, all the way up to 16 technology deck cards and 12 planet deck cards for 4 players. You can always revisit the rulebook and easily modify the deck in order to begin. Here you can see on the right the planet deck, and here is the science deck. They both have specific icons, so you can clearly tell them apart. Also, this is the back side of the card. Please remember not to put it face up. They always should be facing down, and there is a reason for that. These are secret. And also keep in mind that those 2 decks, if one of those 2 decks runs out, this is one of the conditions in which the game will end, and we'll proceed to the playing one more round and finishing the game. Then each player gets 12 ships in his color and places 3 of them on the corresponding warpgate of his side of the board, and the remaining spaceships will be his stock outside the main board, and also we get one scientist or a science vessel, which at the moment is a standee, but as you can see on the Kickstarter page, this is going to be a miniature now, and it's much more interesting. So all those three starting spaceship, which is the fleet that went through the Warpgate, plus the science vessel, the scientist, whatever, they're going to be placed on the corresponding Warpgate of your color in order to be able to begin. Then each player gets a random glory token. This looks something like that. This is a prototype, remember? These are going to be different, and they can be either of 1 or 2 victory points. You don't see those, you just take it and put it face down next to your player board. And then you also place a number of commodity tokens which look like that. This again is the prototype, so it's going to be a bit different, much nicer. And those commodity tokens are placed equal to the number of players plus 2 within easy reach of everyone, so these are going to be available when people are claiming trade routes within the game. Last but not least, the first player token, which is a very nice artwork. I believe it's something similar for the final production. Goes with the first player. And then we're ready to start.
So what's the round structure? The game is split into rounds, each round consisting of 4 turns. Players will take turns in clockwise order, starting with the first player and going clockwise. You control your alien race by playing action cards and resolving the respective actions. At the start of the game, each player draws 4 action cards from his or her action deck, so they have a hand of 4 of those cards to begin with. So this is my first starting hand. So let's have a closer look at those action cards, which are the essence of the game, and actually the most fresh thing about the game, which is very nice and plays really well, as you're going to see down the road during this video. So as you can see, these action cards have 2 parts, an upper part and a lower part. When played, cards are placed on the current turn slot on the player board. You can notice that there are 4 slots in this personal player board, one depicting ×1, ×2, ×3 and ×4. So when played, a card is placed during this turn, when in the first turn the first player is playing a card, so he's placing it there. On his turn, a player must play 1 card and resolve either the top or the bottom action card, the action portion of this card. You cannot do both, you can either choose top or bottom. Also, as we discussed, based on the multiplier, this is the first turn of the first round, so the first player plays a card, so he is going to perform either the top or the bottom ×1. We're going to come back into explaining all the different options. Everyone goes around the table and plays the same. They pick an action card and choose the top or the bottom, and then the turn comes back to the first player. From his hand, he comes to the second stage, so he decides to play this card, and he can again choose top or bottom, not both, but this time whatever he does, the action is done twice. Again around the table, my turn again, I will do, say, control, but 3 times. And then for the 4th card, I will choose to do it either top or bottom again, and ×4. This is very, very interesting, because as you understand, all action cards in the game are affected by turn multipliers. The multipliers determine how far you will be able to move, how many ships you're going to build, and various things times X. The multiplier increases each turn, so that later in the round you resolve an action, the more powerful it is. But do you want to wait to be the 4th action, or other people will try and jump in front of you? Once a player resolves an action, the player will continue, as we said, clockwise, so that everyone is going to have the chance to play one by one their 4 action cards. So let's talk about the movement. All actions in the game are color-coded. Movement actions are usually blue or red, and red actions can be used both to move and attack. Let's start by having a quick look on the blue cards. Keep in mind that the fleet consists of 1 or more ships. Warp, concentrate and redeploy, and advanced actions allow your moves. Let's talk about movement. All actions in the game are color-coded. Movement actions are either blue or red. Red actions can be used to both move and attack, say start a battle, while blue can only be used to move. You can see various examples of blue and red cards on the picture. One important aspect to understand is that the fleet is consisted of 1 or more ships. Warp, concentrate and redeploy cards, also advanced, allow you to move fleets, while recon and skirmish can only be used to move a single ship, as is depicted and explained on the text on the card. When not moving, all ships orbiting the same planet or warpgate count as one single fleet. However, as you resolve movement, you may split your fleet into two smaller fleets, it's up to you. The hexes on the game board are used to calculate distances between planets or planets and a warpgate. A fleet must always start and end its movement on either a planet or a friendly warpgate. To determine the distance, we have to count the number of empty hexes between a fleet and its destination. We do not count the destination hex itself. So for example, the distance from this red warpgate to this white planet is counted as 1, 2, and we are not counting the destination hex. So it's a distance of 2, 1, 2. The warp action allows you to move twice the normal distance, but it has to move in a straight line of empty spaces. In the example above, you can warp from this direction to this one, but you cannot warp from this direction to that one, because it's not a straight line. You have to turn, but here it's a straight line. Next is the control action. Control action, which is yellow color called it, lets you establish outposts or planets where you have a fleet. We can see here with the prototype pieces that an outpost is without a marking and a colony is with a star. During the Kickstarter campaign you can see the various illustration and different art for those two different sides of this piece, because it's double-sided and one side depicts an outpost while the other side will depict a colony. So when you use a control action, control markers are placed with an outpost side up unless you already have at least one colony in that sector, in which case you place any new markers with a colony side up. If there is another player's control marker on the planet, you will return it to him to his supply. So just to show an example, if this is a sector that we come for the first time and we don't have an outpost, we're placing the first outpost because we have a ship on this planet, then it's going to be placed with the outpost side up, and it marks that we have already placed an outpost there. Establishing an outpost is just the first step. To claim a planet card and gain a mission, a player has to take control of the entire sector of space. Sector borders are marked with light blue lines on the game board. To control a sector, you have to establish an outpost on every planet in that sector. Once you do, outposts are upgraded into colonies. So in order to have a colony, you need to establish an outpost on all the various planets of the system. Once this is done, then we will flip them all to the colony side, indicated on the other side of this marker. So when outposts are upgraded into colonies, the controlling player may claim one planet card from those available if it matches the planet type of at least one planet in the control sector. So you have to be very careful on your timing when you claim a colony, the control of a colony, of a sector. If no planet matches, no cards are claimed. A player can never claim more than one planet card with a single control action, even if multiple matching cards are available or no on sector. So keep in mind, a planet card is only claimed when upgrading your outposts into colonies. If you already have an existing colony in a sector and place a colony marker, you can claim another card. When a planet card is claimed, you take the top card of the planet deck and place it into the empty spot. So if I choose either that or that, because there was a yellow or a white planet in the sector that I controlled, I will take the card, no one will see it, and I will replace it from the top of the deck with a new one. So there are two new ones available, and you can see what's coming down the road. So this is how the card looks like. Show you. And keep in mind that this card is only facing down during the gameplay, but when you take it, you can face it the other way around. You're the only one that sees what it's there, and this is a mission. This is a way to gain extra victory points. For example, this is Control Jungle. At the end of the game, score 3 victory points if you control a colony on a jungle planet, this is a green planet, in a sector with 2 or more planets. So you can see that these are secret objectives that you will gain through claiming a sector. You are the only one who has knowledge on those, and you're trying to snitch the extra victory points from them. Keep in mind that completing mission has the potential to score the most victory points, but at the same time it involves the most risk, because getting a colony on the necessary planet is not enough. You have to control it by the end of the game in order to be able to claim the mission. Keep though in mind that most games will be decided by who has completed the most missions, so keep an eye for those missions. That's the goal. Another action card is the research. You can see it here. It's color coded purple. So research action is used to unlock new technologies by moving your scientists to a planet matching the type of at least one of the available technology cards. Again, we have this deck with the technology cards. 2 are open, you can see what's coming down the road, and there are 2 color-coded technologies based on the different color planets. Technologies essentially that you discover during your trips to those new planets. Apart from requiring a research action, instead of moving a spaceship, you need to move a scientist, which works in the same way like moving a ship. Remember, you start with one scientist or science vessel or miniature, what's going to be during the Kickstarter campaign, on your Warpgate, and you need to get it to the specific color of, say, this planet by moving in order to be able to claim this card from the display. The scientist may not move to a planet with an enemy fleet, but may move away from it. As soon as your scientist lands on a planet, you can check if all the available technology cards match the type of the planet you have landed on. Not all, any of those, sorry. So if at least one of those matches your card, then you're good to go and you can grab it. And then again, you take it, you have a quick look, and you can see what is the mysterious new technology that you have managed to unlock. This is an ongoing ability. It says you may use trade as if it was a control action. Haven't spoken about trade yet, but this is the benefit that you can get. Or this one. Each time you use recon, you may look at the top of the 2 cards of any other planet's combat deck. Very nice feature. So what you do with these technology cards? Keep in mind that when you claim a technology card, you get to look both of the 2 available ones, and then you choose which one you prefer, and then you put the other one face down. So if at the end of your round both available technologies are of the same type, you have to reset it so that not the same type of technology card is shown on the display. So you take your claim card and you place it here. You have 4 slots, as you can see, and here you have an ongoing ability that it's unique for you and your alien race. Your second one is going to go to the next slot, 3rd and 4th. Keep in mind that as soon as a player claims their 5th alien technology card, then this initiates that you're going to get to the last round, and it's one of the prerequisites in order to making the game finish. So you get to play one more round. Every single one of those technology cards is worth 1 victory point at the end of the game, besides the ongoing effect that they give. But also if you have an additional 5th one, it is worth 2 points. So each, the 5th, the 6th, etc. are worth 2 points. The first 4 are worth 1 single point. Another action that's very straightforward is the draw action. It's white color coded, so if you place it second, then you're gonna draw up to X cards from your action deck, so you have more possibilities. X being the multiplier of the round, the same like with the rest of the action cards. If by any chance it happens that you draw cards at the end of your round and you deplete your draw deck, then if you don't have enough cards to draw, you're gonna reshuffle the discarded cards to form a new deck and draw the remaining card. Remember that at the end of your turn, you're going to discard any unused cards face down, so that you will draw a new hand of 4 cards at the start of each new round. 2 more action cards, pretty straightforward. One is the build action. Notice we played on the 3rd, which is going to be multiplied by 3. Place up to X ships on your Warpgate. So this is the way how you spawn new spaceships, but these are spawned on your Warpgate at the beginning of the start of your faction, where they're pouring out into the space. And the next action card is the Reinforce. You add 1 ship to your fleet of X or less ships anywhere, meaning that you build up your fleet, you send reinforcements. The advantage compared to the build is that you can do it wherever you want, and you can use it up to X, meaning again the multiplier. So you can build 1 more ship to an up to X fleet that's already flying through space. Another cool feature to notice is that the number of times each action cards appear in the action deck is shown on the top right section of the player board, so you can have a quick look here and know what to expect in order to program and organize. Another way to gain victory points and score points is claiming trade routes by using the trade action, which is this one, and it's orange color coded. Let's have a closer look. It says you claim a trade route if there are X or less empty spaces between any number of your fleets, at least 3 of which are orbiting a planet with a commodity. You can see planets with commodities have this special icon, like that one and that one, so they are visible. So in order to claim a trade route, I have to have my fleets orbit at least 3 planets with a commodity icon and use a trade action with a high enough multiplier to trace a path connecting them. So for example, those 3 trade planets, 1, 2, 3, we have yellow ships orbiting them, and they're a distance 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I need to play the trade action on a turn with a multiplier 3 in order to be able to claim a trade route. Trade is not reliant on control. You can claim a trade route if the planet with the commodity is neutral or has another player control marker, it doesn't matter, as long as you have a fleet over that planet. So when you do that, you grab one of the commodity tokens that I showed you before, which are worth 1 or 2 points depending on what you pick. And these are victory points for the end of the game. So the last thing that you haven't covered is the attack. When a player moves his fleet to a planet orbited by another player's fleet, it's called an attack and results into battle. For example, if this happens. So normally only red colored actions, color coded actions, can be used to attack, start a battle, and those actions are advance, concentrate and skirmish. These actions can be used to attack and start a battle. Skirmish only allows you to attack with a single ship, advance lets you attack with a fleet, and with concentrate you have to move 2 different fleets from 2 different planets to the same planet, combining them into a single fleet. There must be an enemy fleet present for a movement to be considered an attack. If the enemy control planet has no enemy, ships on the orbit are not considered to be entering a battle, and it's undefended. Therefore, if the yellow was not here and those 2 were moving here, the planet is not considered to be defended, and there is no start of a battle there. This would happen if the yellow player would be already orbiting this planet. So during the battle, this is where these beautifully illustrated cards come into place, the battle cards. Remember, we have 8, each player has 8. So at the start of the battle, both the attacker and the defender draw 2 combat cards from their respective combat decks, and if the combat deck runs out, obviously you can shuffle your discard combat cards and form a new combat deck. Both the attacker and the defender choose one of the 2 combat cards and they place it face down. Once both players have done this, and they have played a combat card face down, then we open the cards and see what's depicted facing up. So we open the yellow and the red. In this example, both have 0, multiplied by 0. So what would happen is we multiply the number of each player's ship in the battle by a fleet multiplier on the card. The fleet multiplier on the card is on the top left. Here it's times 0, times 0. You can show another card where this would be something different. For example, times 1. So we do multiply the number of cards by the number of depicted on the top left of the card by the number of the ships participating in the battle, and a player with the highest total wins the battle. It's as simple as that. In the case of a tie, the defending player wins. After determining the winner, we resolve the effect of all played cards. If you check carefully, both cards have a text. The yellow player says destroy one of the opponent's ships, and when attacking, the red player says claim a glory token unless the opponent also played the price of glory. So essentially what happens is they do give both an effect which may destroy additional spaceships or do various different things, but also it forces the defender to withdraw and the attacker will take the planet. Keep in mind that the defeated player has to withdraw from the planet, even if the winning player has all the spaceships of the fleet attacking destroyed as a result of the battle. So what happens if we withdraw? If the attacker lost the battle, his fleet will withdraw back from the planet where he was attacking from. So in this case, red will go to retreat back to the planet where he started his attack from. If the defender loses, say the yellow, then his fleet must withdraw to the nearest friendly or uncontrolled planet, or a Warpgate, except from the one the attacker attacked from. In this case, we're covering the game board with the card, he would withdraw here. In case there are multiple valid planets for this withdrawal, with the same distance, the winner chooses which of those planets the defender has to withdraw to. So one of the 8 combat cards each player has in their combat deck is the Prize of Glory, the one that we showed earlier, which is this one. Let's have a close look. You can see the Prize of Glory. Very nice illustration, by the way. It says when attacking, claim a glory token unless the opponent also played the same Prize of Glory card. This is a way to gain victory points from an attack. Remember, these are the prize tokens, the glory tokens, sorry, that we have received at the beginning of the game. These are not the trade tokens, by the way. The trade tokens all have a value of 2, if I was confusing you just a few minutes ago. These are the commodity tokens. They are worth of 2 victory points. But what's important is now we're talking about the glory tokens. We have one from the beginning of the game. It might be 1 or 2. So when you play the Pierce of Glory, you are able to snitch victory points from the opponent by taking these precious victory points in addition to them losing the battle and withdrawing. So as you can see, the battle is very straightforward. It's very simple. It only lasts a few seconds between the 2 players participating. Fast and easy to understand and to execute, and that's the purpose of this for the attack for this game, because it's not all about attacking. You have various things to do: area control, exploration, trading, claiming trade routes, etc. So a very heavy attack system would make it more blocked and give it a bit more slow progress. So it's nice that the attack is very fast and very easy to make and to resolve. So the end game is triggered when at least one of the following conditions is met. First of all, the planet deck runs out and there's only 2 available planet cards to claim. The same with the technology deck. This is the second prerequisite for a game to be triggered, to end. The third one is the player unlocks his 5th technology card. The third one. The fourth one is a player runs out of control markers when resolving a control action by placing control markers. And the 5th and last one is that the last available commodity token has been claimed. When the end game is triggered, the current round is completed, followed by another full round, and after the final round is finished, the game ends and scoring begins. So what do we score? Victory points are awarded as follows: 3 victory points for each completed mission. The same planet can qualify for multiple missions, as long as the planet type matches what the mission says. 1 victory point for each unlocked technology, 2 victory points after the 4th one, meaning the 5th, 6th, etc. 2 victory points for each commodity token grabbed, 1 or 2 victory points for each glory token based on the value of the token snitched from their opponents, and the player with the most victory points will win the game. In case of a tie, then we're going to check who has the most controlled planets in the game, and this will be the winner for this session. Now, what do I think about this game? I really like the fact that it's a very fast game. Very simple rules. The rulebook is 8 pages long with not many things to do and explain to other players. So to summarize, I really liked a lot of things with this game. First of all, it's very fast paced. You do so many things during your turn. It's card driven, but in a simple and efficient way. I really liked the very innovative way of using this player board. So depending on what you do with your action cards makes the whole difference, because it's a multiplier. If you play your build card during the first slot, you're going to make only 1 extra ship coming to your Warpgate for your assistance. Spawning 1 extra ship is not that good. You maybe want to keep it for the 4th round, but you're going to do a lot of various things. So you want to do other things for the 4th round. Maybe you want to move 4 times, so you have to go further down the road, or you can do different things. So what's important is you only have a hand of 4 cards and you have to choose what to do and how you prioritize, how you program yourself, if you may. but this is very nice because the same thing happens with your opponents. So you have to boom, play a card, check what the other guys are doing, see if you have to adapt your strategy accordingly, and then follow your pre-planned or modified plan to see what you play for the second, third and fourth action card, which is boosted and gets even better and bigger and stronger with effect ×2, ×3 and ×4. Very nice addition. The special ability also is quite cool because it gives some differentiation to each of the faction. It's also double-sided, very nice addition, so you can have different special abilities from each side of the board. You have 4 of those. And overall, keep in mind that this is a prototype, this is plexiglass, so this is not how the game is going to look like. You're going to have plastic miniatures, detailed miniatures, which are going to be very cool. The same goes with those scientific advisors or scientific vessels. They're going to be miniatures, as I have checked the Kickstarter page lately. So this Kickstarter campaign is running now. I really advise you to have a quick look and see if something interesting to you, because overall it's a very fast game, fast-paced, brings a lot of cool things and cool ideas on the table, and I really enjoyed it. So have a quick look on Warpgate.